Shalom, shalom, Israel's brothers of Abba Yallah, coming back at you with another cold cut. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, right? Double honor to the men out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth and honesty and sincerity. The mighty Akwath, laying down their necks for the ministry, being like the mighty foremothers in this thing, and the mighty children keeping the commandments, abiding in their parents' households. Shalom, shalom, enduring, man, all things for the elect's sake, right? This is going to be a quick cold cut. Right, going into how to deal with betrayal in the truth. All right, how do you deal with betrayal? Or how do you deal with somebody, you thought that was going to be there for you, and now they up and disappear on you, or they don't believe in you, or whatever, man. How do you deal with betrayal? You got some people that resort to worldly things, carnal things, right? They resort to backbiting, fighting, drinking, talking about another person's back. But in the truth, we're not doing that, man. We're building a nation. And as you're building a nation, you will have people forsake you along the way. As your road, road to the kingdom, hey, guess what? A lot of people going to leave off from you. Why? Because we've seen it happen to our fathers in the scriptures, right? So there's really 3 steps I'm going to go into on how to deal with betrayal. The first step is understanding that it will happen, and it can happen to you, man. Right? It will happen, and it can happen to you. A lot of people know betrayal can happen, but they never think it can happen to them until it happens to them, and now they are distraught, right? But it can happen to you, and it will happen. Let's go to Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. This is the book of Romans chapter 15 and verse number 4. And it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. Right? So the things that were written in this book aforetime was written for our learning. So we have to search the scriptures and see what our fathers went through, ultimately Yahushua Mashiach, on the earth, so we can apply it to our lives, because we can go through the same things. Right? And it says that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And when you read the scriptures and you read about some of the same things your fathers went through that you're going through, it gives you hope. It gives you comfort, because now you feel like you're not the only one that's going through it, man. So that's why we got to read these scriptures. We got to understand these scriptures, right? Understand that it can happen to you, right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 7. All right. Actually, let's go to Jeremiah 6 and 16 first. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse number 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein. So the Lord says, stand and see, man. Meaning, look at the things that your fathers went through by reading these scriptures. And then you should desire to want to go down that path, because it made them closer to the Most High. That's why the Lord said, ask for the old ways, man. Right? Ask for the old paths. Right? And then walk therein. Right? Where is the good way, and walk therein, man? And you shall find rest for your souls. But they said we will not walk therein. And that's what our people say. They're not going to walk therein. That's why when they deal with these different, things on a worldly level, they don't know how to handle it, man. Right? Because the Lord said, hey, I can teach you how to handle it. All you got to do is read about your fathers and ask for the old way and walk therein. All right, so let's get the book of Proverbs 19:7. So we got to understand it will happen, right? Things will happen to you, man. All right, and betrayal is one of those things. It can be from your family member. It can be from your 10-year, 15, 20-year close relationship, right? It can be from your son, your granddaughter, your grandson. It can be from whoever, man. But understand it will happen. This Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 7. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, they are wanting to him, man. Right? So, hey, the poor man, and spiritually, Israel's that poor, man. We're the one that's poor in this society, man. But even on a physical and individual level, if you're a poor man, right, or this meaning you in the lowest state, guess what, man? Your friends will go far from you, man. You're going to be lacking to them, man. They're not going to want to be around you. That's what happened to Job, the 19th chapter, man. Even his close acquaintances, man. His breath was strange to his wife. So your betrayal can happen from your closest friends. It can happen from the people that you care about the most, man. Right? And then he pursues them with words, right? You're texting them, you're calling them like, yo, you know, can we do this? Like, I booked us a little event at this thing, and guess what? The line goes dead, man, right? Because you've been betrayed. And the Lord said these things will happen, man. It's not a new thing. The Lord prophesied about these things that's going to happen. It happened before. It's going to keep happening on the earth. Let's go to Matthew 10 and 17. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10. Start at verse 17. Come. Matthew chapter 10 and 17. And it says, but beware of men. So the Lord tells you, beware of men. Right off bat. Right? For they will deliver you up to councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, man. Right? So men will do that to you. Men will lie to you. Men will be deceitful towards you. Men will tell you some things that you want to hear just to get what they want, man. Hey, but the Lord said, beware of men. Meaning you got to kind of watch out for men. You got to kind of examine men. Right? You can't just trust every man. Even the men that you do trust, the Lord said you got to beware of that person too. Nah, that's my brother. Or I know he would never do that to me. And then he does it to you, man, that time, because the Lord is telling you it's going to happen, man. He's trying to get you to understand it will happen. Let's jump to verse 21. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death. Hey, I got two brothers, man. That's not in this truth. In that day, they may deliver me up to death. You may have 2 brothers, 3 brothers, 1 brother, 5 brothers, 3 sisters, 2 sisters. And that day, they're going to deliver you up to death, man. Right? And that can be a lot. And it says, and the father, the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death, man. So your child may deliver you up. All those times you didn't want to celebrate their birthday. All those times that they asked to go out on Saturday with their friends to a game, and you said no, and you made them read the words of the law. They're going to remember that, man. And now when it's time to come and put a bounty, the so-called white man got a bounty on your head, black Hebrew Israelites, and come to your family, your child going to remember all of that. And he's going to, you know, and the Lord going to put on the spirit, he's going to say, what? No, yeah, my dad over here, man. And he's going to deliver you up to death. And vice versa, the son, the father and the son, man. Right? So the Lord's saying these things that happen from your closest family members, man. Right? Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 19. It can happen from your closest people. Right? But we got to understand how to deal with this, man. Right? And the first step is understanding it will happen. So let's go to 2nd Ezra 15 and 9. Right? It's 2nd Ezra 15 and 9. Shlakia. 15 and 19. Shlakia. 2nd Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Hey, your neighbor, your next door neighbor. Hey, Todd. Hi, Jim. How's the family? Family's doing great. All right? Okay, cool. I'll see you later. See you later. That neighbor that you used to be able to kick it with, he invites you to the little cookouts, barbecues. You've kind of invited him in over for a drink one time, right? Your wife met his wife, right? Kind of talk for 5 minutes before you go to work. That person going to deliver you up to death. And guess what? Hey, in that day, houses shall be destroyed with the sword, man. All right, so this is betrayal on the ultimate level, but you can simply just be betrayed by a brother that was in this thing. Now he not in this thing, man. He used to do the work with you. Now he don't do the work with you. He used to be there. Right now he not there. Or sister, vice versa, man. This is, hey, that can happen. Let's go to the book of 2 Timothy 4 and 10. So in those days, your physical neighbor going to betray you as well, man. Right? But hey, let's go to 2 Timothy 4 and 10. Paul had to deal with his brothers leaving him. Right? Paul had to deal with it, man. And what did Paul say? It's 2 Timothy 4 and 10. For Demas have forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, Cretans unto Galatia, Titus unto Dalmatia. So Demas forsook Paul for the world. Hey, when I first came into this truth, this brother, right, his name was Junie, right, and he had brought me to the truth in college, man. By the end of the year, he was out the truth. I'm talking about, we used to do all breakdown videos. We had a YouTube page started up, man. We used to teach, you know, the whole first semester But the Lord started sifting him out throughout the spring. And next thing you know, he's a rapper that likes to tow choppers, man. Why? Because he was trying to get a record deal. Rapping. He used to rap in the truth. Now he rap for the world, man. Right? And now guess what? He has forsaken you. Right? He has forsook this present world. I mean, he has forsook the truth for this present world. And that's what happened to Paul. Demas did the same thing. Right? And he kind of left, man. And didn't want to be with Paul no more, man. What did Paul say? Verse 11. Only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee, for he is profitable to me for the ministry. Paul didn't really trip about it. You know why? Because his mind was still on doing the work. Because he understood that brothers fall out this thing. And he said, only Luke is with me. That's all I need. Hey, you take Mark. We're gonna get this ministry up and rolling, man. Right? But Paul had that understanding. Ultimately, this was prophesied from the beginning, man. The Lord, this is nothing new that, like I said, the Lord put on the earth, man. All right, this is Isaiah 46 and verse number 10. Right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Right? So the Lord already said these things will happen, man, from the beginning of time, man. We're just living it out on the earth, man. Right? But at the end of the day, your mind still got to be burning for the Lord. All right? The word of the Lord will become a reproach unto you. Jeremiah said it. Let's go to Jeremiah 20:7. Understanding, like I said, these things that happen to you, right? Your mind, you got to learn how to continue having your mind burn from the Lord, burn for the Lord, man. Right? This Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 8. For since I spake out, I cried out. For since I spake, I cried out. Shalakia, I cried violence and spoil. And that's what we cry, violence and spoil. Death to America, right? People will be put into slavery. The 2/3 in the wicked will be destroyed, right? If they don't, and if the 2/3 don't repent. So we preach violence and spoil in the destruction of Babylon the Great. But what? Because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me and a derision daily. Meaning Jeremiah got laughed at daily. He got reproached daily. Probably coming up against him, you know, probably just speaking all madness and folly, right? This, you know, taking away the word from the people, Satan just dwelling among him, right? Guess what, man? That's gonna happen. That happened to him daily. So what happened? Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, but his word was in my heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. And Jeremiah said, I tried to not speak the words of the Lord, but I just, my body just got tired of this, stopping myself from preaching the words of the Lord. He said, I was weary. I could not stay. He couldn't sit in one spot. He was pacing from damn wall to wall, thinking about the words of the Lord. He said, you know what? I got to declare this to the people. I don't give a damn if it's a reproach unto me. And I don't care, right, if people going to laugh at me, man. I got to do this work. And that's how you should be. And that's what we're reading about from Jeremiah, right? 2,500 years ago. Guess what? It's the same thing in this day and age. If people forsake you and understanding what happens to you, hey, your mind is already fixated on still doing the work of the Lord. Right? But now let's give some tips on, you know, what we got to do, man, and understanding what this individual can look like. What will it look like if this man or close friend will forsake you? Sirach talks about it. Let's go to Sirach chapter 6 and 8. This is the book of Sirach chapter 6 and verse 8. And it says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of trouble. Some man is only a friend for what he got going on, for what he want to do, for his own occasion, for his own deceitful lusts, for his own agenda. That's how the so-called white man is, man. He'll only befriend you for his own benefit. The Lord is telling you that there's men on the earth and women on earth like this. Verse 9, and there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach, man. Right? And there's a friend, hey, guess what? When he's turned to enemy and strife, when he turns to not like you anymore, he's going to discover your reproach, man. Right? He's going to come against you. Verse 10, again, some friend is a companion at the table, man. And that's what Jake said. Hey, I'll break bread with him. Right? I'll do this with him. I'll break, you know, if I got 50 cents, he got 25, I got 25. I got $1, he got 50, I got 50. Or I'm going to break bread with him. Right? But what? And will not continue in the day of thy affliction. Meaning, you can break bread with a brother, but at the same time, you fall rock bottom, he not going to be there, man. No, didn't this thing happen? Didn't the Lord break bread with Judas, man, and gave him bread, right? He literally gave it into his hand, man, right? And what? He still betrayed him at the end of the day, Matthew 26. It's like Matthew 26, man, on down, all right? So the Lord's telling you there's types of individuals that exist like this. You got to watch out for them, man. Verse 11, but in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself. In your prosperity, he will be as you, man. Right? For those that seen the movie Lottery Ticket, right, when Kev won the lottery, man, the Brandon T. Jackson, right, who was playing his friend at the time, he was just like him, telling people to move out the way, right, saying, hey, if you want to speak to him, you got to speak to me. He will be as thyself in your prosperity. But what? But it will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face, man. As soon as you be brought low, he will hide himself from you, man. He gonna tell you, hey, call me when you get it together, but I'm gonna be making moves over here. What can you help me? I don't really got time. I gotta make my own moves, man. Right? The Lord, hey, he's telling you that's what's gonna happen. Now, that's number one. Understanding it will happen and it can happen to you. Number two is how to endure it when it does happen. What to do when it actually happens to you. Now you know it can happen to you, but what to do when it actually can happen to you. Let's go to John 16 and 33. This is the book of John, chapter 16 and verse number 33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So when it happens to you, you have to remember the words of the Lord. You have to remember what the Lord said. The Lord said he's forewarning you that you're gonna have tribulation, and this is part of the tribulation, is betrayal. But the Lord said you have to be of good cheer. When it happens to you, you can't get. It's gonna be a hard thing not to get sad and get angry. You gotta control those emotions, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna have joy in the Lord because it happened to the Lord, so it can happen to me. And then when it happened to the Lord, it happens to me. Hey, I can get this kingdom as well, man. Right? I'm enduring this thing as well. So the Lord said, be of good cheer, man. He overcame the world, and you can overcome the world too. All right, let's go to Genesis 37. Let's read about what Joseph did when he was betrayed. This is Genesis chapter 37 and verse number 4. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. They hated him so much they couldn't even be deceitful about it. They just say, I just don't like you, right? And they couldn't speak any peaceable words unto him, man. Right? In verse 5, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren. They hated him yet the more, and they hated him even more after the dream that Joseph told them, man. Right? Verse 11. And his brother envied him, but his father observed the same. So Joseph, his brothers turned against him. Joseph, his brothers didn't rock with him, man. They hated him. They turned against him. Right? They couldn't even hide it, man. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers because they put him into slavery. All right, let's go to Genesis 39 and 1. All right. Actually, let's go to Genesis 37 and verse 21. Let's start at verse 20. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. So they say, hey, man, oh, yeah, that's the dream you had? Hey, we're going to kill you. We're going to say an animal did it to you, and we're going to see if that dream come to pass, man. They wanted to kill their own brother, man. Their own brother. That's a betrayal, man. That's something Yahweh dealt with. He was murdered and put up to death by his own brothers, and the Romans killed him, man. Right? And Joseph's brothers wanted to put him to death as well. But what happened? And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he may rid him out of their hands to deliver him to his father again. Right? And they put him into slavery. They said, Reuben said, no, we're not going to kill him. Right? Let's just do this. I have an idea. Let's just put him into slavery. Right? Verse 28, then there passed by Midianites, merchant men, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. And then he got put into slavery by his brothers. But what did Joseph do? How did Joseph handle the situation? Did he get revenge on them? Did he come back for vendetta? For people that seen the movie Vendetta, right? Did he stray away from his course from serving the Lord? Did he just go about his own agenda? Right? What did he do? Right? There's Genesis 39:1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of the Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him out of the hand of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of the master of the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph was still a prosperous man. So why was Joseph still a prosperous man, and why was the Lord with him? Even so much that his enemy, the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, saw that he was with Joseph. How do you become prosperous? Let's go to Joseph 1:8. Joshua 1:8. Let's see why Joseph had the Lord with him. What was Joseph doing the whole time in that process, being put into slavery? What was he thinking about? What was he doing? There's Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. How do you become prosperous? This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So when Joseph was prospering and everything prospered in his hand, he always thought about the words of the Lord, and he never stopped meditating upon it, man. Right? He observed to do everything that was written in the law. So the Lord was with him, man. So that's what Joseph did, man. So when you're going through betrayal, in so much, hey, you know, your father, your brother, whoever leaves you, man, people turning their back on you, your mind always has to be on the words of the law. And you always have to make sure that you don't stray away from your course, your mission that the Lord told you to do. And he told you to keep his laws and live and teach the people. If you're a woman, teach the younger sisters, man. That's your mission, right? Yahweh Shai didn't stray from his mission. Paul didn't stray from his mission. He said, hey, only Luke is with me. Hey, here, take Mark, because he is profitable to the ministry, because his mind was always on the ministry. Your mind got to always be on doing his work, man, right? And serving his Lord and meditate therein day and night, right? Let's go to Psalms 26:1. So, hey, Joseph kept his integrity, man. He didn't stray away from what he had to do. It could have been easy for Joseph to say, man, F my brothers. Right? And when you read on in that book in Genesis, man, he entreated his brothers well. Right? It's Genesis chapter Psalms chapter 26:1. Right? Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord, therefore I shall not slide. So he trusted in the Lord, man. King David trusted in the Lord. He said, I walked in my integrity, so my feet shall not slide. Meaning I ain't gonna slip up. I'm gonna always be prosperous, man. Just like our forefathers was. Verse 11. Oh, it's like in verse 2. Examine me, O Yahweh, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart, man. And when he tries your mind, the Lord want to see you meditating upon his laws, man. He tried Joseph's mind and his reins, and he was found doing the works and thinking about and meditating on the law. All right, verse 11. But as for me, I will walk in my integrity, redeem me and be merciful unto me. And the Lord will be merciful unto you if you walk in your integrity. The Lord was merciful unto Joseph. Joseph could have been dead. Joseph can anything can happen to him when he got sold into slavery, man. Right? But the Lord was merciful unto him because Joseph walked in his integrity, ultimately thinking about the law, statute, commandments. So this is what you got to do when these things do happen to you. You got to run to the law. You got to run to the words of the Lord. And you got to always meditate on it and always do the works of the Lord and not stray from your mission. Ultimately having integrity. Right? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 7 and 5. It's the book of John, chapter 7 and verse 5. For neither did his brethren believe in him. So the Lord's brothers didn't believe in him. His blood brothers, man. His brothers didn't believe in the Lord. Did that stop the Lord from doing the work? The Lord said, we read in John 16 and 33, the Lord overcame the world. But as you can see, this is one of the things the Lord had to overcome, is his brothers not believing in him, man. Right? Verse 7. I jump down to verse 7. The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth. So the Lord already knew the world hated him. His whole nation of people, his brothers, hated him. Because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil. Because the Lord speaks up against the works of the evil, man. Against the works of the Lord. I mean, against the works of the world. And we testify against the works of the world that is evil. So the world hates us, man. And our brothers and our sisters that are in the world may be your family members. It may be your friends or your actual neighbor, man. Right? Or your brothers or your sisters. Guess what? They're going to come up against you too. And they're going to envy you. They're going to hate you because you testify of their evil works, man. Because they're of the world. And the Lord overcame this. All right? Let's go to Isaiah 53 and 2. All right? The book of Isaiah chapter 53. Let's prove that. Let's go to Isaiah 53 and 2. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 53 and verse number 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of a dry ground. He have no form, no comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Right? And that's talking about the Lord, man. His brothers didn't desire him. They didn't desire to be with him. Right? Verse 3, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him, and he was despised, and we esteemed him not. The Lord went through that, man. His people didn't esteem him. They didn't like him. They envied him. They hated him. He was despised and rejected of men. Imagine you being rejected. Jake can't control, or Jake get mad when his grandmother said, I ain't dealing with you no more. I'm a Christian. You a Hebrew. Don't come to my house. I ain't cooking you Sunday dinner. And Jake crumbled. Right? But the Lord was rejected by his whole nation, man. And these are the things that the Lord dealt with, that he overcame. You may have to deal with this whole thing too. Brothers had their families forsake them. Brothers had their whole families forsake them, man. And they don't even contact their families. And they don't contact him or them or her because they do the work of the Lord. Right? And that's what the Lord went through, man. So we covered the first two. Understanding it will happen, and it can happen to you. When it does happen to you, you got to do the precepts, meditate on the works of the Lord, man, and don't stray from your mission, right? And understand the Lord overcame so you can overcome as well, and use that as motivation, man. Now, after it happens to you, after you're betrayed, after people turn their back on you, how do you heal from that? What you're supposed to learn from every situation. What did you learn from that situation, from that happening to you? Understanding what happened to you, and you doing that, man. What did you learn? Let's go to John 2 and 19. You got to learn, man. You got to receive instruction, right? And some people, you know, and some people that happen to, they become mentors. They teach other people, right? They forewarn the other people that this may happen to you as well. How do you deal with it? This is John chapter 2 and 19. What understanding or what conclusion do you have to draw? This is John 2 and 19. This is the conclusion the Lord drew. It's like John chapter 2 and verse 24. Right? John chapter 2 and verse 24. And it says, but Yahushua did not commit himself unto them because he knew all men. Yahushua knew what was in man. That's why he didn't go around man. That's why he wasn't out there just creating relationships with everybody. Right? The Lord was doing his job, and the Lord ordained certain men and rolled with certain men that he knew, you know, that was like-minded with him. And even with those men, the Lord knew who was going to betray him, and the Lord knew who was going to denounce his name when that time came. But at the end of the day, he still had that job to do. He couldn't say, damn, Peter, you going to deny me thrice? I ain't rocking with you. No, he had to make Peter the damn rock of the church, man. even that happened. He had to go through Judas's betrayal, right? So the Lord knew all men, right? And it says, it needed not that any should testify of man, for he knew that what was in man. And now you know what's in man. Now you learn, okay, this is what man is actually about, man. Right? Even the men that say they're going to be down with you, sometimes they're not down with you. Right? Let's go to Matthew 15:18. You got to understand how man thinks. You got to come to the conclusion that man actually thinks these things. And the Lord's going to tell you. Of course, the Lord's going to tell you. Right? He's going to warn you. Huh? Because the Lord, he went through that experience. This is Matthew 15 and verse 18. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. So those things that come from the mind, they defile you as a man. Right? They're the one, what you come from your mind, and then what you speak, that's what defiles your temple as well. What you speak can defile your temple. Right? For out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, and blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defile not a man. So these are, you got to understand, this is what man meditates on, man. Hey, in 1 John, the 3rd chapter, if you hate your brother, that's considered murder. So men think about hating their brother or hating their sister, all right? They're murderers, man, and they're thinking about murders. There's somebody, it can be somebody right now sitting at home thinking about how much they hate you. They want to overthrow you, man. They tired of you, man. That's murder, man. Right? Adulteries, hatred, man. Sleeping with another brother's wife. A woman want to sleep with another man and she's married, man. Fornications, false witness, man. Didn't the Lord say your sons and your daughters and your brothers and your sisters will deliver you up to death, man? They could be a false witness, right? And blasphemy, evil lies and thoughts, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Psalms 116 and 9. Hey, what did King David say about all men? King David's been betrayed. What you think happened with his top guy Joab when he was slaying his officers, man? David was betrayed. David was hurt, man. He even told Solomon, hey, do what you got to do to him, man. Right? He betrayed him, man. Right? All right, let me get that, man. Let's read about it, man. It's going to establish why David is allowed to say this. David's just not talking. He just writing things down. David had experience going through betrayal. It's 1 Kings chapter 2. It's 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 5. Moreover, thou knowest also what Joab the son of Zeruiah did to me, and what he did to the two captains of the host of Israel, unto Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Jether, whom he slew, and shed the blood of war and peace, and put the blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and in his shoes that were on his feet. Do therefore according to thy wisdom, and let not his hoary head go down to the grave in peace, man. And he told him, it killed Joab, man, because you know what he did to me, man. You know how he shed innocent blood, so put that judgment upon his head, man. He was betrayed by his own top, and that was his top right-hand man. He was damn general of the host of Israel, man. Right? Leader of that army, man. You know? So King David was allowed to say this. And let's read what King David said. This is Psalms 116 and verse 9. I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I believe, therefore have I spoken, I was greatly afflicted. I said in my haste, David said, I said very quickly, all men are liars, man. All men are liars, man. That's what he said. He said, I said in my haste, all men are liars. Why was he allowed to say this? Because Joab probably told him, hey, you my guy. I'll never betray you, right? And you gonna be with me, right? And I'm gonna be with you, and we're gonna be the best nation. He was probably telling them all these words. You know, he probably was there for David when he was there for David when he was in his lowest points, man. He even had to check David when you read it, man. But guess what? At the end of the day, Joab betrayed him, man. And that's why David said, I said in my haste, all men are liars, man. Let's go Psalms 118 and 8. Psalms 118 and 8. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. So King David said, hey, it's better to trust. Hey, at the end of the day, the Lord will never forsake me if I do his commandments, man. If I do his will, the Lord will never go back on me. Psalms 37 and 25, he says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, man. I've been young and old, I've never seen the righteous forsaken. That's coming out of David's mouth, man. Why? Because it's better to put trust in the Lord than put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord, verse 9, than to put confidence in princes. All right? And that's plain, man. And that's what you got to come to that conclusion and draw that understanding after you may have been betrayed before. And you still made, dealing with the grudge, or the evil thoughts behind it. You got to come to this conclusion. Hey, this happened to King David. It happened to Yahushua, and what did they do? Right? And what did Joseph do? They never strayed from their course, and they came to the understanding. Let me just trust in the Lord a little bit more, man. Right? Because the Lord prophesied these things will happen. Right? It's Sirach 37:12. And what do you got to do? What do you got to do, man? So this won't happen to you again. You don't want to be a fool and just kept letting people betray you because you don't know how to prove somebody. It's Sirach 37. Or you don't know the type of people you should be around. Right? It's Sirach chapter 37 and verse 12. But be continually with a godly man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So ultimately, you want to be with a person that's mind is according to your mind, man. So that decreases your likelihood of being betrayed, man. Not saying that person won't betray you, but at the end of the day, it decreases that likelihood other than hanging with that person in the world or hanging with that stranger or somebody that doesn't get your mind or somebody that doesn't understand you. It's going to be easier for them to betray you, man. So the Lord said, hey, continue with the godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, who will sorrow with thee if you should miscarry. Right, let's go to Matthew 12 and 43. All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12 and 43. I'll start at verse 46. But while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. So the Lord's blood mother and blood brother, the same brothers that didn't believe in him, wanted to talk to Yahushua. Right? Wanted to have a conversation with the Lord while he was doing the work. But what happened? Verse 47, then one